What is going on, everybody? It's Krieg, and we're back with movie number 2 of 2024. Although, didn't take long. The second movie isn't new this year, but it is a movie that I stumbled across that I've seen different release dates for it. I've seen 2020, I've seen 2022. I'm going to presume it's 2020, the earlier one, so maybe it was a thing like when it came out. But the movie is called The Calm Beyond. And I'll tell you right off the bat, it's better than the first movie I saw of this year. The Calm Beyond is one of those minimal actor movies. Well, that's not true. There's some scenes with a lot of actors, but the majority of the movie is centered around a couple of figures. And then the end increases by including a few antagonists. But the premise is a tsunami flooding overtakes Hong Kong. And individuals who are trying to survive, they're trying to get to the high buildings, run up the stairs, etc., and only a handful of people lived. And this focuses on a girl who's living in an apartment building, and she is, listen, you like the protagonist in Next, or in Your Next, like, whose name I forget, was it Erin? But this girl is just as resourceful. She might not have the Israeli fighting training, whatever it was that the one your Next had, but she's very smart. She created hiding spots for all her stuff. Why, you might ask? Well, because you quickly learn that even though she's alone in the apartment, there's a boat that comes by every now and then of scavengers, and they'll come in, they'll take whatever they want. Think of the Regulators. Is what Negan's group is called? No, I don't know. I forget Negan's group, but something very similar to that from The Walking Dead. But she threw dirt down on the ground to make it look more disheveled. And the first time you saw them come, it worked very well. I should say there'll be minor spoilers. I don't know if there might be more than minor. So if you think you're gonna see it, maybe come back after this. But so the first time it went well. But then you see someone's in the building, and you don't know if it's someone that's really malicious trying to get to her, or, long story short, it turns out it's a kid. And the kid reminds her of her sister who died in the stampede, who she wasn't able to save. And then eventually she develops a bond with the kid. Even though it's shaky, she thinks the kid stole something. She didn't. The kid, though, did steal some fruit oil. He gave it back, yada, yada. But then the scavengers came back, and they had to hide in separate places. The main girl's name, what was it? Asha, I think it's Asha. She had to hide in the room where her dead parents were, where the smell was overtaking, but because the other girl was in the closet hiding space. They found the little girl gave her up, and then all of a sudden the scavengers, they take all her stuff, put it on their boat, and then they started reading them out. Eventually, Asha gets the upper hand. They all run back in the house. One by one, she takes out very much like Home Alone style with some of the traps, but even more so than that, that's where there was no resourcefulness. I think it is Erin from Your Next. If I'm wrong, tell me down below. And then eventually, she kills everybody. And then they want to go on a boat anyway. They're building a raft, so now they got this whole tugboat situation going on outside, so they hop on with the thought of now they're going to travel to safety, wherever it might be, because it was on the radio. My thought is it was a radio message that never got pulled, but who knows? Maybe there was safety to it. Maybe there'll be a sequel to it. I don't know. I don't get involved in nearly as many foreign films as I should, just because I'm not exposed to them. I don't come across them. If someone recommends something, hell, one of my favorite movies of all time is a foreign film, Run, Laurel, Run. Not a horror movie, the German movie, but the soundtrack, it's such a good movie. But this movie, I'm going to give this the highest rating of the year so far, which isn't bad when you consider the first movie. Or is it that good when you consider the first movie was Night Swim? I'm going to give this a 6. And you know what it reminded me of? If you ever saw Live, whether it was I know there's a Japanese version, there's an American version, it was on Netflix, it might have a slightly different name. Very similar idea, except that zombie is not a flood overtaking anything. So I suggest watching it. It's not free streaming anywhere, but you can rent it. And that's kind of what I did when I saw when I was intrigued by sort of the description. But anyway, thanks for checking out. Like I said, under 5 minutes, my goal for most of these. So I got a few more seconds to say goodbye. Goodbye. Have a good one. Peace.